might indeed be live. Perhaps not super centered. There's our safety. See if we can't aim it slightly better here. The lightning and rain is just quieted down outside. I thought we'd read a little poetry here. And perhaps this signal will stay for a bit. And I'll read from the ancient scroll, iPad Pro. Some Mountainless poetry. This is a poetry series of mine, and it's called Mountainless poetry, or also known as plain poetry. There's a long tradition of mountain hermits, mountain sages, and the poetry that comes from their lives, their hearts, their minds, their pen. And I live in a pretty flat, topographically flat part of the world, but my heart feels as though it lives with these mountain sages. And so I have my series of mountainless poetry, or plain poetry, plain as in spare and plains. And so I haven't pre-read these or sort of curated them. Some of them I may not have read in a long time, so I may pronounce things wrong or miss the proper reading, but here we go anyway. Welcome to the relatively quiet midday Someday Farm studio. I've no jug of wine, though a moth has alit on my brow. I've no hermitage, though the summer breeze scours and clears my between these ears. I've no mountaintop, no crane. I'm turtleless. I have my cooling tea. I have the dead poets I live with. I have their poetry. I have my inchoatry and my rasp-edged poetry. Monks, hermits, sages haunt happily in my heart and pages. You can hear the rain picking up outside. By the way, I'm testing a new wireless Bluetooth lavalier mic. So maybe we can expect future improved audio quality. So, clouds over canopy, clouds in my coffee. The world's a swirl with me between, smiling. Most of these don't have titles, so that's why I'm just going right into it. Don't know if you can hear the rain, the wind chimes. Pretty thunderstormy day. Presiding over my demising, I soak tea leaves, uncurl in the heat. In time, no I, return to the timeless, slaked. Twin mountains eroding, one a sibling for a lifetime, the other a brother for this peon, each wearing out, each wearing the other as overcoat. Only one mountain works to be mountainous. So much yet to learn, but I'm worn out. So on my poetry has this wordplay where I'll have a word with a parenthetical letter or two or more, I guess, where I kind of, in this case, I have eon with the parenthetical letter P preceding it. So reading it on the page, I can see that we mean eon and peon, or take your pick, or both, or either or both. But I don't quite know how to read it aloud, because I feel like I have to pick one, and I tend to pick the full, but then I imagine the audience misses the meaning. So a bunch of my poetry does this, and kind of I think it's best to be read on the page. So when I've read it in public, I'll try and print those poems so that people can read along, and whichever one I choose to say, they can see the double meaning, if not the double walk. That's Taoist fun for you. This one's called Riderless. Hermit tea, lonely poetry. Am I a hermit still if I don't write for me? From feet to mind point, step by scrabbly step, step by scrambly step, step by outcrop clambery step, I sweat upwards toward a peak. There to find the mountain is, and as mountains are wont, the mountain ever has been, me. Quick punctuation edit there, since I'm on the ancient scroll that allows cut and paste and typing. Desiccated by daily mountain breezes, my worries leached. Lichen now my overshirt. The odd sheep clatters over this still sitting me, still sitting. I have few questions, my mind in endless autumn. The queries merely seed pods. I sit among my thoughts, browning and curling leaves. I sit, my quest, I sit, my question, I sit, both end. Here in this now, I sit, now in this here. I have these answers now, but silence flew in to nest. Some mud, some spit, a twig or two. The eggless silence roosts, resides in my throat. My lips know not the sputtering song of my mind. I have known answers to give. I have no answers to give. I have no answers to give. So in that last stanza, the three, I guess adjectives are known, and then know, K-N-O-W, followed by N-O. So known, know, as in to know, and then know as in what your mother says. I have known answers to give. I have no answers to give. I have no answers to give. I'm just going to read back because I feel like I wanted to edit something here. Oh, I think it's okay. This one is called Bent Upwards. I'm higher than any other, all I know below. My feet no longer touch these clouds. The moon, though, somehow finds herself again, as ever, as before, again far, far above, overhead and out of reach. She was caught for a moment, though, caught up in the march for Scythia, expecting as it did the purples of spring, it tangled in her tangles. A momentary disk, dim yellow held in dangle. I stir my pot. I sip at cooling tea. I wonder too if the moon is caught up there, or was it me and the moon was free? For that matter, I plunge beside the embers. Was any but I expecting? I'm noticing that I endeavor to have pretty good posture as a meditator, and the live stream, because I could see my image and the scene that I think that you're seeing. But I noticed that if I sit, I'm at least the view I have is that I'm cut off about here. And so it's kind of interesting, this external feedback actually has me slouching so that I feel like I'm in the frame. That's 1,316,472 reasons for me to have bad posture as a meditator. So we got a new one. This thing I call interesting is neither interesting or not. I bring interest to this thing, these things. I affix a rickety thereto. Yeah, I kind of misread that twice there, so I will begin again. This thing I call interesting is neither interesting or not. I bring interest to this thing, these things. I affix a rickety thereto. In doing so, I give up my power of interest. This one is called Zhuo Wang. This is named after a type of meditation practice, which maybe we could translate it as sitting and forgetting. And I believe this one made an appearance in I Am Online magazine, Internal Arts magazine online, which I think is internalartsmagazineonline.com. Sifu John Painter's project. So I think this one made an appearance there. Zhuo Wang. In the high valley I make my sit and forget place. Truly though, my chit and regret place. My cushion, my tea, these pale wildflowers and the hauntings of my heart. The silhouetted geese and the tauntings of my mind. Truly though, the dauntings of my no-self. The windows blow up the slopings, the breeze pools cool here in the dale. Each accomplished blade of grass, each of the 1,000 million sways now south, now easterly. Opinionless, the sheaves of green wither this, wither that, all bending, all pointing, singly as one. I alone in this high mountain valley, somewhere above the clouds, somewhere beneath the peaks, am delighted by my opinions, tormented by my opinions. I sit, breezes. I sit, to wit. So that one ends with a colon and emptiness, which is perhaps the most we can hope for. This one is called Failing My Tools. High up here amid this cold and alone, my tools might best be forgiven if they've long since forgot that they deserve better. But the only lips my teacup have known are my blurbering too. The only ink my brush has known has been that scolded into some sorrowful form on this not mulberry rock. The only skin this robe has known was that of this persistent perpetrator. It's yet to feel a worthy monk. The only sage it's known is the sage I've crumbled into my pestle in pitiably inchoate mockery of an apothecary when my knee went turned and grew as big as my dreams. The only ears or heart my poems have reached up here in this thin air have been my own, source and resting place of my ignoble offerings. I forgive my cup, I forgive my robe, I forgive my brush, I forgive my flesh. It never knew better, it always deserved better, it never knew better. Stone home, stone home. My stone home is unchanged by rains. My stone home does not rustle and ruffle in every breeze. My stone home won't ever fall to flame. This is a saddening for me, for I won't see it change. The valley is built with bamboo homes and thatchings, and each will come to pass as things do. But my stone home won't see such change in a span of time that I will live to learn from. My stone home teaches too slowly for this dim student. And so, a cup of tea. This one is titled 827 or 926. I cinch my cowl up tight against the cold wintriness. I grip my journal, my pencil, tight in trembly hand. I clear some acorns on the sharper rocks and settle my seat down to sit. I follow the clouds as they dissolve in the bluing sky. I listen to the hidden brook and soon fall into reflection. The birds hardly seem to care or hardly seem to notice. Only later would I towel off and drip home to befriend the coals, the fire, and maybe right there, the ceiling is nice. Yeah, the rains have picked up just a little bit here again. See if I can give you a view of my view as we record. The Kamidana is just on the other side of the recording device. My tea coldens as I wait, seemingly patiently, for the long-expected nameless to arrive and return, with her ineffable quality of that most rare, the unbounded, qualityless. This one is called Devti. I've climbed the monkey-sided mountains overlooking Rishikesh, a spill of rishis in the granite bowl below, each with chalice, with incense, with their various beggars, each sweet-tongued with prasad. I've bent to kiss a broken man, my lips on his toes, his laugh in my ear. Antarayame statuary all around, Japamala, 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 Namostute. I've tucked my frame under a stories-filled and stories-high Hanuman, folded myself into a room of song, Chalisa after Chalisa for hundreds of years. The pilgrims and flowers, the ghee candles and Sri Ram, Jai Jai Rams. I've sought myself. I've sought the selfless. I've made friends with both. I've come home dusty only to be lost. I've come home refreshed only to be lost. The names, the mantras, the bhajan, the Ganga, none had answers for me. Each had answers for me, none had questions for me, each had nothing for me. And so I bow, I thank each, every one, I thank one. This one is written after a phrase that Sifu Lang would say. And it's titled "See So Low," like see so low. Clouds lull over, snows cling fast, and as the world tilts, set to flowing, broadly, treacly, joining capillaries to veins, veins to the heart of this good spinny earth. Clouds lull over, and ever the sun. I seek my peak in the valley below. And I'm just noticing there's an awful lot more, but maybe I'll just read one more and maybe come back and read some more tomorrow. This one's called Breathless. The geese heading east know no uphill, the mountain a smudge of no concern. To me, the failing of my breath. I think I'll read one more. Of course, you can excuse yourself at any time. You can stop, pause, save, fast forward, skip, block me, No title for this one. Each daybreak, I whisper to a mountain I've never met or seen. I listen to the silence's aches. I feel the still thrum. I feel the long-forgotten wounds. I sense the secret scars of this mountain I've yet to meet, though perhaps this is all me. Thank you for joining. Perhaps even you were able to hear me with the new Smart Mic trial. So thank you all very much. I'll attempt not to burn myself here.